Live music is one of my favorite things, and the Tampa area has more music venues than most people realize. Stay tuned, I'm going to run through them, and I'm going to give you some pros and cons from a middle-aged perspective so you know what you're getting into. Hey everybody, Melanie Atkinson here, Realtor with Compass in beautiful Tampa, Florida. Today I'm taking a break from talking about the housing market, and instead I'm going to talk about the music scene in the Tampa area. If any of you follow me on Instagram, you know that I spend a lot of my free time at concerts of all sizes. I don't feel like Tampa has a public reputation for being a big music mecca, but most of the big tours do come here, and we have some great small venues for lesser known acts. This episode is going to be about music venues where tickets are most likely required for shows. What I'm not going to talk about here are the restaurants and bars that provide free live music. There's just too many of them. Now, I'm going to be giving you some of my opinions, so to help you understand my perspective, I will tell you that I'm 47 years old. I have lived in Tampa for 25 years. I like all kinds of music, from classic country to metal and everything in between. I do have a high tolerance for crowds, and I am comfortable standing for long periods of time. That makes some of these venues fun for me, but not necessarily for everybody. I definitely do not claim to be as cool as the people who frequent these venues, especially the small ones. Please forgive my basic middle-aged woman perspective. My goal is to encourage more people my age to support live music venues and musicians. Okay, let's get started. We're gonna go from the smallest venues to the biggest ones. And if I forget any, please tell me what I forgot in the comments. First up in small venues is Crowbar in Ybor City. It's been around forever, and unfortunately, their lease is not being renewed. I think it's up in 2026, so I really hope they find their next location by then. If you're a fancy middle-aged person, you may walk up and say, I'm not going in that dive bar, but go in, you'll be fine. Everyone is super nice. The crowd there is definitely younger. You will most likely not be sitting, and there's no fruit for your drinks. Don't ask for a lime, but they do have lime juice if you really need something. I go there for specific shows, mostly newer rock bands, but they have a variety. I saw a singer-songwriter there recently, and it was amazing. The sound is good, and it's such an intimate place to see emerging artists. Next up is the Orfium in Tampa, pretty close to the University of South Florida. Now, full disclosure, I have not been to this location. They moved there from Ybor a couple years ago. I loved going to shows when it was in Ybor. Some of my best concert experiences were at that location. I just haven't had a chance to go to the new one, but I wanted to make sure I included it. If the new venue has the same vibe as the old one, it will be a younger than me crowd. You're gonna be standing the whole time. The sound will be great, and the people watching will be better. Most of the acts on their calendar are alternative rock and heavy metal categories. I will try to go there soon, and I'll put my thoughts in the comments. Also in Tampa is Skipper's Smokehouse. This has been around since 1980. It is a Tampa staple, and it really appeals to the middle-aged and older crowd. Skipper's has a lot of classic rock cover bands and original artists, rock, blues, reggae, country. There are places to sit, there is food, and it is outdoors, so dress appropriately. Tickets are super cheap, but it's a great, laid-back, old Florida vibe. Now we're headed over to downtown St. Pete. First small venue there is the Floridian Social Club. They have a lot of non-ticketed live music there, but they also have some great shows that you need to buy tickets for. This space has been a live music venue forever, but it was fully renovated a few years back, and it is a beautiful, classy venue now. The stage is big, the sound is good, the bar is full service with high-end liquors. Depending on the show, they may have small tables or they may take them out. I've seen both depending on the size of the crowd. There are stools around the bar, and the bar is huge. This is an easy one for me to recommend for all ages. And finally, for small venues in downtown St. Pete, we have Janice Live, another venue that has been around forever. It is outdoors. There are no places to sit. It can be really hot and really crowded, but it's a lot of fun because they get so many great artists to perform there. If you are a live music fan, especially that 35 to 55 age group, You're gonna end up at Janice at some point, and you should go. Here are my tips. Wear comfortable, closed-toed shoes and dress appropriately for the weather. If you don't love crowds, stand towards the back or the sides, but watch out for the big oak tree in the middle of the venue so it doesn't impede your view. There is a second story that you sometimes can get tickets for, but they are much more expensive. Okay, now we're going to move on to mid-sized venues. First, we have 3 inside theaters: Ruth Eckerd Hall in Clearwater, the Mahaffey Theater in St. Pete, and the Capitol Theater in downtown Clearwater, which is significantly smaller than the first 2. All of these are beautiful, reserved seat, multiple level venues. Most of the shows I see in these theaters are not get up and dance shows. It's just hard to do that in a theater setting. People do try though. Seeing talented singer-songwriters is my absolute favorite thing to do at these venues. My one tip for Ruth Eckerd Hall is if you think you're gonna need to get up a couple times during a show, do not get a seat in the middle of the row. The rows are continuous and long, so when you leave and come back, you have to walk past like 30 people and they all have to get out of your way. It's very annoying and frankly, a very bad design by the theater. Next up, outdoor amphitheaters. We have 2 here and they are both open air, but have a roof over the reserved seats, but not the open grass areas. The first one is a large venue out by the Hard Rock Casino, which by the way also has live music shows. I forgot to mention them earlier, so sorry Hard Rock. But the amphitheater is called the Mid-Florida Credit Union Amphitheater. That's a mouthful, I just call it the AMP. Lots of big artists go there. In the past year, Noah Kahan's been there, Chris Stapleton, Offspring, Pitbull, and a ton of country artists. It can be really hot depending on the time of year, and sometimes the afternoon storms can make the walk from the parking lot very soggy. But once you're under the roof, I always find it to be totally fine. Most of the time you will have seats. There is a general admission pit area in the front with no seats and a lawn area where people bring blankets or chairs to sit on. The second amphitheater is The Sound, and it is our newest music venue here. It's on the water in downtown Clearwater, and it's so nice. You get a great breeze because it's on the water. Now, it's not as big as the one in Tampa, so the acts that go there aren't as big, or they are appealing to more nostalgic music lovers. I've seen Dwight Yoakam, Alabama, but also Bad Religion was there and 97X Next Big Thing was there. It's a very diverse lineup. Now, if you're staying on Clearwater Beach, it is just across the bridge, so check their calendar when you're here. Before I get to our largest venues, I'll mention the Yingling Center at University of South Florida campus. I haven't been there in a really long time, so I'm not gonna say much about it, but because it's on a college campus, it tends to have artists that appeal to college-age people. I did, however, see an amazing Green Day concert there many years ago. Now on to our biggest venues, Amalie Arena, where the Lightning play, and Raymond James Stadium, where the Bucks play. Amalie is a great place for concerts, and they tend to book the popular artists that are doing indoor shows. For instance, Justin Timberlake was just there, Sabrina Carpenter will be there in October. You are going to have a seat, and it's well air-conditioned with food and drink options. The 300 level is high, and definitely hard to see the artist, but much cheaper. I don't love floor seats there because it's flat and goes far back, so it can be hard to see if you're short. If you can get them, the first level on the sides are the best. Raymond James Stadium is always an adventure, but if you want to see the biggest shows, they are probably there. It's outside, so it can be super hot. There's going to be a ton of people, so the traffic can be a pain going there and leaving. If you want to do rideshare like Uber, the pickup is across Dale Mabry, so it's a bit of a walk, but it's very helpful to have it separate to keep everything moving. Leave before or during the last song, and it will save you major traffic headaches. Floor seats are tough there too because it's flat, and if someone's tall in front of you, they can eclipse the whole stage. My other tip is to get seats on the west side of the stadium because the sun will go down behind you and you'll get more shade. Raymond James is very strict with the size bags you can bring in. They only allow super tiny bags, so go to their website and look at the dimensions before you go. Whew, I told you there were a lot. I hope this helps some of you get out and go see some shows. Let me know what your favorite venue is and if you have any tips for people watching. If you're looking for something else to watch on this channel, take a look at an episode I did with my friend Chantel where we talk about some of our favorite restaurants in town. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.